So continuing our previous lesson, basically now we're going to be dealing with finding the sum. So there, in the first one right here, if we're finding the sum of this series, the thing is finding the sum of what? We don't know how many terms we have here. So this is, again, it's indirect question. So the first thing we need to do is find out how many terms do we have in this series, since the last term is 55 over 4. So we have to resort to the Tn equation. So Tn equals T1, which is half, plus n minus 1, which we don't know how many terms we have, times d. And d here is 7/8 minus 1/2. So the second term minus the first term. So the common denominator is 8. That will be 7 times 4 times 4. That will give me 4. So 3/8 is the common difference. So I'm just going to stick the 3/8 right here. So now we plug in 55 over 8 in the Tn. So 55 over 8 equals half plus 3/8, 3 over 8, n minus 3 over 8. I'm just distributing this into here and into there. Now your best bet is to multiply everything here by the lowest common denominator, which is 8, to get rid of the fractions. So you multiply this to here, the 8s will cancel, and you end up with 55. You multiply 8 into a half, it gives you 4. You multiply it to here, the 8s will cancel, and you get 3n. You multiply it into here, the 8s will cancel, and you get minus 3. 55 equals 1 plus 3n, because 4 minus 3 is 1. So now we have 54 equals 3n. I minus 1 from both sides. And therefore, n equals 54 divided by 3. And that will give you 18. What you want to find now, since you know you have 18 terms, so this is the 18th term, now you could go to the equation that I wrote in my previous lesson, which is, I'm just going to isolate this here, finding these. So I'm going to go to Sn equals n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 in brackets d, close the bracket. Now we know a is the first term, which is 1/2. N is 18. D is the common difference, which we found here, 38. So what we're finding is the sum of the first 18 terms. That's there. Now, n is 18, so 18 divided by 2 times 2 times a, which is 2 times 1/2, plus n, which is 18 minus 1 times d, which is 3/8. And then I'm just going to close the bracket. Maybe just make that square bracket so you know where the bracket started or where, which equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. And the square brackets 2 times half is 1. 18 minus 1 is 17 times 3/8, which equals 9 times 1 plus 51 over 8. And this is 1 over 1, so it will give me 9 times the common denominator is 8, so that is multiply this by 8, so you end up with 8 plus 51, which equals 51 plus 8 is 59. So I'm just going to carry the 9, so 9 times 59 over 8, which equals, so final answer is 531 over 8, and that's the sum of this series. The next question is sigma notation. Lots of students, when they see this, they think, wow, this is impossible. Nothing to it. All you need to do, this is your starting number. You plug it into here. You go 7, 2 times 7 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. So your first term is 19. And then plus, because sigma notations means the summation. So you're adding, so it's going to give you a series. I'm going to plug in the next number to 7, which is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 5 is 21. Plus 7, the next number, which is 9. 9, 2 times 9 is 18. Plus 5 is 23. And this sequence is going to go on. You could sub in the 24 in to find out your last term if you want, but you don't really need to, because the number of terms for this sequence or this series, the number of terms, so how many terms this is going to give you, what you do, you take the upper bound, which is 24, minus the lower bound, which is 7, and you add a 1 all the time. So this will give you 24 minus 7 is 17, and 17 plus 1 is 18. So funny, we had 18 terms in this one, and this one has 18 terms as well. So let me just, oops, let me just, so now what we need to do, basically, this is a series. They want me to find the sum of the 18 terms that we have in this sequence. Again, what we did, we plugged in 7 to find the first term, we plugged in 8 to find the second term, and we just go 9 all the way to 24. But I'm not going to do that because that's very lengthy and time wasting, because we have an equation that we could use, which is the SN equation right here. And I'm just going to highlight this. So let's use a different color here. So we could see this equation, and I'm just going to do blue around it. So this is the equation for finding the sum. I wrote it in my earlier lesson. So now what we're going to do, just plug in everything to find the sum. So we know n is 18, number of terms, n is 18. So what we're finding then, we're finding S18 equals A, which is the first term, 19. Sorry, I'm just gonna back up a little bit here. So equals n over 2, which is 18 over 2, brackets 2 times A, and the first term A is 19, plus n minus 1, so 18 minus 1 times D, which is the common difference here. You're adding 2 every time to get to the next term, so that's times 2. And therefore, we have 9. 2 times 19 is 38, plus 2 times 18 minus 1 is 17, times 2 is 34. So now 38 plus 34 equals times 9 equals, so the sum is 648. This is, we kind of finished the sequence and series for arithmetic, which we're adding a constant every time. The next lesson will be covering that geometric sequence, which is geometric, you multiplying by a constant. So it involves a different equations. Till next time, stay safe. As I always tell you, math is like a puzzle, and it's always fun to solve puzzles. Bye-bye.